So we are going to start. First of all, Guillermo Nielsen, thank you very much for your presence in APLA with us in 2020. We would really like to thank you for your presence. It is an honor for APLA that such a distinguished person has joined us. I would like to introduce Guillermo Nielsen. He is a graduate in economics from the University of Buenos Aires. He is PhD candidate from the Boston University in the US, among other positions in the country and abroad. He was president and CEO of Unitech Semiconductores SA. He also served as director of strategic planning of Sacoma America Americana SA and Mercado Sub Corporation. He was negotiator before the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs in the European Community in Brussels. He is chief economist of the group of experts of Argentina of Fundaciones Económicas Latinoamericanas. From May 2002 and December 2005, he also served as Secretary of Finance of the Ministry of Economy and Production of Argentina. In 2006, he was Minister of Finance under the city government of Buenos Aires. He was also ambassador of the Argentine Republic to Germany from March 2008 to September 2010. Since June 2016, he has been Councillor of Grupo San José Madrid in Spain, and since July 2017 he is Director of Carlos Casaro SA in Argentina. He is also a member and consultant of the Argentine Council for International Relations and Director and Chair of the Board of YPF since December 2019. Guillermo, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your introduction and kind presentation. I would like to thank APLA, its president, Bernardo Álvarez Certucha, the executive director, Mr. Manuel Diaz, for your invitation to participate at your annual meeting on behalf of YPF. On this occasion, in a virtual manner. In this way, we can keep on communicating despite the healthcare conditions that we all know, without the in-person contact. Thank you, Guillermo. And you are right, as you are saying, this pandemic has forced us to use platforms that we used to have, but we didn't quite use. So now let's use this technology, and allow me to start this conversation, Guillermo, by asking you the first question. I would like to ask you the following. How do you see petrochemics in Argentina, particularly its potential thanks to the development of the new Vaca Muerta field? The petrochemical sector in Argentina is one of the most important industries in our country, with 8 petrochemical poles and over 150 companies, a value of the chemical and petrochemical sector of $25 billion. So this would be the second industry in South America with 110 direct jobs. They account for 8% of the industrial jobs in Argentina, and 50% of such employment is found in small and mid-sized companies. There is a high multiplying effect of jobs. For every job there are from 4 to 8 jobs created. It contributes to the balance of exports worth $3 billion in 2019. So this accounts for 18% of the industrial manufacturing exports of Argentina. In addition, it must be noted that the sector has a high impact in some regional economies, such as Buenos Aires, Neuquén, Mendoza, among others. YPF, as an energy leader in the country, also has its petrochemical arm, leading us to be the first petrochemical producer of Argentina with 2 million tons a year of production in our Ensenada aromatics plant, plants of propylene, surfactants, specialties. Also in Luján de Cuyo, another distillery that we own where propylene is the king, and Plaza Wingo, which is also a producer of methanol. Finally, Profiltil. In all cases, there is a high integration with our industrial complexes. There are annual investments worth over $16 million and sales of around $500 million. So I'm talking about more than 30 products sold in Argentina, 75% of production, and the remaining 25% sold in more than 20 countries. I would also like to take this opportunity to emphasize a very important point: the importance of Vaca Muerta field as a current and particularly future source of raw material for the local and regional petrochemical industries, particularly in the industrial development of the natural gas liquids, due to their potential low cost, which is combined with the regional deficit of byproducts, particularly polyethylene and polypropylene. Argentina can seize a unique opportunity in the industry of polymers by adding value to the development of non-conventional gases in line with what has already happened in the US. Our company is today, thanks to Vaca Muerta field, the main producer of non-conventional energies outside North America, with thousands of barrels of production a day, representing more than 20% of the total production of the company. We are extracting unconventional oil and gas in a profitable and competitive manner, even in the current context characterized by low prices. Together with our world-class partners, we have been very successful in reducing costs with longer and wells and more fractures per well on average. Today we have 4 blocks underway and 25 pilot blocks, and we are even expanding the borders of the Vaca Muerta field thanks to new exploration efforts. Challenges are many. We must speed up development of our blocks, which requires high levels of investment in a volatile global context, and at the same time, the pandemic and the associated quarantine that have had a high impact on the mobility have also undermined our sales of fuels. However, we are committed to developing Vaca Muerta field, since it's one of the driving forces that will contribute to the recovery of the Argentine economy. For that purpose, we are going to keep on perfecting our production methods of non-conventional oils. This has allowed us to reduce costs and increase competitiveness, consolidating their attractiveness and the competitive advantages nationally and internationally. Thank you, Guillermo. This has been impressive. Let me ask you another question that, in one way or other, is related to these topics. What does the industrialization of Vaca Muerta means, and how can the petrochemical sector contribute to the monetization of shale gas and shale oil? The industrialization processes of the Vaca Muerta oil and gas will be key, particularly to create jobs and foreign currency, positioning Argentina as one of the most important petrochemical players in South America. The availability of competitive commodities in a deficit market makes us have a privileged position to capture the value added of industrialization. If we take the US as example, we can clearly see how the petrochemical sector was the link that powered the development of non-conventional fuels, creating a virtuous cycle in the sector. So, walking a similar path as that of the US, faster if possible, is part of our goal. And I would like to apologize before the audience, who is an expert in this matter, but now I feel the need to describe all the opportunities that we envision both in the sector of refineries and petrochemical sector, both in oil and gas. For example, in shale oil, we have gas oils from the shale oil refinery. We have oil fields and subproducts through thermal catalytic cracking. We have aromatics such as benzene, toluene, and byproducts, and paraxylene, which is a basic member of the PET chain, shale gas, urea, methane as the raw material, methanol based on methane. We also have polymers, polyestyrene, polypropylene, connecting propane as a raw material too. So if we manage to successfully develop this potential, not only will we benefit the energy sector of the petrochemical sector too, but the industrial sector as a whole, ensuring supplies at very competitive prices. This will rekindle production in the industry, not only in Argentina, but also in the region as a whole, empowering the existing projects and allowing to set up new industries and develop new business, the business that today we cannot even think of. Thank you very much, Guillermo. And allow me to make you the last question. And please, considering the industrialization opportunities and value added to the natural gas and subproducts, what projects does YPF has today for the years ahead? Well, YPF has many projects in order to expand the monetization of the Vaca Muerta gas field in the hands of the petrochemical sector. First, the expansion of Profertil, the fertilizer company that we have with Nutrio, our Canadian partner. This company supplies nitrogenated fertilizers for the most competitive sector of Argentina, the farming sector, the livestock sector. We are a key component of the agro revolution in Argentina in the past decades. Our goal in Profertil is to double the installed capacity of urea. We have investments projected worth $1.2 billion. This will allow us to increase to $2.7 per ton a year in the output of the plant in order to supply the regional market, particularly Brazil, a market that demands from 4 to 5 fertiles a year. The main drivers of the project are first and of all the availability of natural gas thanks to Vaca Muerta. Second, the growth of the local market due to a larger area of wheat and corn growing thanks to the new technologies. Third, the regional market with an increasing demand of 2.8 on average a year and with new projects in the region. Finally, we have a brownfield project that will provide for expansion. And finally, actually, we have logistic facilities that exist not only in Bahia Blanca, but also it's very important to emphasize the Paraná waterway that gets into Brazil and also the logistic advances in the railway system inside Brazil. This will allow us to get in very competitive conditions to the heart of the corn planting area, the maize growing area in Brazil, which is the main demanding sector for these fertilizers. Currently at ProFertil, we are in a process of bidding engineering technology, for the detail engineering, for the construction engineering, with some difficulties in the equipment supply that you might imagine as a result of the pandemic. But we are making our greatest effort in order to start up the construction for expansion as much as possible. In summary, the reduction of the mobility, which has had a very negative impact on our industry, has led us to manage the present time with a view in the mid and long term. Our challenge as a country and as a sector is to promote consensus in order to develop our potential and put it for disposal of the Argentine people, of the region, and of the world, creating value, genuine jobs, and speeding up the national economy. This is why, despite the adversity of the current situation, we are working hard to materialize a very promising future which is in our reach. Guillermo, thank you very much. Guillermo Nielsen, Director and President of YPF. I wish you personally and on behalf of APLA a lot of success for the completion of all the projects that you've described. It won't be easy, of course, but I'm confident that with your leadership capacity and YPF's capacity, you'll be able to materialize all of these projects. So we will be willing to see and looking forward to see how it goes following these projects. And without further ado, I would like to just conclude this conversation. It's been an honor for APLA. Considering the importance that YPF has in Argentina and in the region, thank you very much for giving us this interview. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon, face to face, once this pandemic is over. Thank you once again, and keep safe. Thanks a lot. Thanks to you, very kind, and see you soon.